So that's from Florida. This is a really old school mod. The old X car. This is from Canada. I mean, this is all them from Dirt Car Hall of Fame. I mean, you need to update some of these. Because obviously some of these guys are long retired or passed on. Bobby Gerhart. I know who Gerhart is. I mean, some of these have seen a little better wear for wear because they got sat out in places. Buzzy Ruderman. I mean, Nazareth doesn't exist no more. He plowed the way for other things, unfortunately. Like how someone hands you a lot of these. Look at all these. Zero. That's Jumpin' Jack Johnson. That was one of his last mods. But you see, you still have the old school stylization. He passed on just recently. This is like one of the first modern modifieds. 1989. I think it was also Sunoco. The first mini mod, basically. Mike Rod, they called it. Mathewson. Called this a modified, but these were like street stock modifieds. Used to race them. It's like an old Indy car. So from the Andretti racing experience. So this is an old IRL car, like a really old one. That's from like the mid 90s. Like you see down in it, you basically lay down in there. That's how those cars are set up. And that was a very simple, look at that, it's simple. They don't make them like that no more. They're all electronic these days. This is what you call a super modified. This is more pavement track. So the Steel Palace Oswego Speedway, this is what races there weekly. There's a lot of these like them that still race there. There's some more old school mods. Another old modern version modified. In the late 80s, early 90s. Another super modified. That's what they call them. They call them super modified. It's a winged. This is the winged super modified. Believe me, those create downforce. They freaking go. They're crazy. You're basically flat out the whole time. See, he later on in life did these. Man, that made me nervous as hell. The fuel cell is right beside the motor. Woo. I'm good on all that. There's a lot of people put murals up. That was the grandstand of the old Moody Mile. Unfortunately, it's long gone. That's the old passing flag. They don't look like that no more. Got old mods. Call them vintage Thunders. They still race everywhere. That's actually pretty tall. Look at that thing. Got little skinny tires on that thing. Imagine used to race on those. Imagine just going as fast as you can with those. The old helmets he used to wear. That's just wild. And they're super modified. There's a few of them here. Sprint cars. There's quarter midgets. I mean, these are a little bit older sprints. That's about as close to a modern version as you can get. It's an older one. He's a quart. And this is Tony Stewart's. It's not the car he just hopped into and just started winning when it sat for a couple of years. But that's one of the Tony Stewart's old cars. He used to be a lot smaller of a gentleman. Got these. They actually went. People actually race these crazy things. Greenwood Auto Body. It's an old tow rig. And it's basically a kid's toy in back. And they used to use for the overflow. Look at that. That's old school. It's an old mod that ran around Oswego. That track's old too. It's old as heck. Used to be from Canandaigua, Waterloo. Getting one of the older, one of the more mods. I remember this car racing. It wasn't that long ago. This is one of Jimmy Phelps' old cars. When I first started racing, he was still racing that. I mean, the last few into the Hall of Fame. They just put Billy Decker into it. They do need to update that. Like, they got all-time wins list. It's from 2011. Nazareth no longer exists. Rolling Wheels no longer exist. We still got Albany, Saratoga, Ransomville, Fonda, Lebanon Valley. Man, a lot of these tracks just don't exist anymore. That's pretty sad, if you ask me. It's unfortunate. I forgot to show off the fire suit. I can go back over there. There's a couple trophies over here, too. There's Lazzaro's car. It's a pretty nice photograph of it, actually. Matthewson. His descendants still race. Old Brett Hearn t-shirt. And look how old these shirts are. And Brett Hearn's. Jack Drover. Just a really old uniform. 800 wins for Hearn. He's got more than that. Way more than that now. I think he's over 1,000. This used to be one of the trophies you drink out of it, literally. I think they have some Miller in there. Well, it was the Miller Junior Draft 300. These are Hearn's trophies. Back when it was the Moody Mile. Pretty wild, if you ask me. I hope you guys enjoyed this. See a little bit of stuff I like this Dirt Museum. I've never actually been in here. They were kind of a little hostile toward me a little bit, and then they kind of eased up. Got some more trophies over here. Why don't we go look at them? I think there's a second place for Sportsman Series. Oh, the NASCAR Sportsman Series. So that'd be the same one Ralph Earnhardt was tearing up back in the day in the 60s. So he raced against some pretty good greats. Saranac Lakes does no longer exist. Auburndale, that's closed. Middletown, that don't exist no more. A lot of these tracks closed down. The modern age just really wiped a lot of them out. It's from the old Nazareth. It's a heck of a trophy. It's a really nice one at that. I don't make them like that anymore. I mean, some of the cheesy trophies they gave us, these are nice in comparison. That's made of actual marble. Which one's this? I can't read it. The Owners Championship. Shucker Speedway Coupe Division. It's a defunct track. That's one I haven't heard of. Brewerton Trophy. We got an old school uniform. I know who Steve Payne is. Bobby Kane. One of his old uniforms. I mean, these guys were working back in the day. More old uniforms. Sam Plowski. He raced NASCAR back in the day. I think he got Rookie of the Year back in the day. It's from Canandaigua. More Buzzy Rudiman stuff. Dick Tobias, I know who that is. This was another freaking Moody Mile trophy. I mean, look at that. Gorgeous. This was the 100-mile race back in the 70s. So that's basically the sportsman division. It wasn't even the big show. Look how big of a trophy they gave you for winning it. Now they give you a little teeny thing. 5 Mile Point. That track's gone. Middletown. It really didn't close that long ago. Middletown was operated not so long ago. There's some more old tracks. Waterloo, gone. Empire Raceway, gone. Back in the 60s when they first started racing the Moody Mile. The old entry list. I'm sorry, I have to be like kind of quiet. Trying to read what it says. Maple Grove. No, that don't exist. Syracuse 100 Mile. Look at that trophy. It's brass. It's really cool. Utica Rome. That track's still around. Lancaster. I think it closed recently. It's pretty sad a lot of these tracks that closed up. That. 5 Mile Point 85. That's closed down now. Used to have owners championships and all that. Used to actually mean a lot. Got some old Gator Racing new stuff. I mean, old school stuff. The old Lancaster. I mean, look at these old trophies. They're beautiful. Kosaki. That doesn't exist. I've heard of it. More Waterloo stuff. Mid-90s when Big Tobacco was still allowed. I tell you, when Big Tobacco, like, they shunned it, and in 74, 100 mile race. One for the owner, one for the driver. Back when it actually used to be ran by the fair. There's some private hands back then, obviously. Not the crap since the state took it over. There's some pretty cool stuff in here, guys. This old Jeff Brodine's old mod. He used to race against old Harmer boys back in the day. That's a story for another time. He's kind of a primitive, modified. Back when they used to allow more motors. Now basically they're all based off GM engines these days. Back then they kind of used to allow experimentation. Before they all went universal. They didn't want costs to get out of control, but if you ask me, look at that. A lot of the car owners. I recognize some of these names. It's just small memorabilia. Jumpin' Jack Johnson. Alan Johnson. There's a lot of them.
How you doing?
Pretty good.
What do you think?
I like it.
There's enough to see, huh?
Oh yeah, a lot. Lots.
Seems awful dark in this hallway.
Oh, you're all good. I mean, here's some old school racing photos. Brett's still racing. One of the most vilified guys in all dirt racing. The guy races hard. Alright, guys. That's about as much as we can get. Hopefully soon enough I have a video up of us racing.